I'm going to cover a very, very serious topic tonight. And I want to give you guys an idea about my background and where I came from. I created this saying, and I've used it quite often. I am the richest poor person you're ever going to meet. The best way to describe that is up until I worked for a siding installer, a siding company, and I was an installer for about 15 years. That's all I did was installed siding, and people wanted me to keep going out on my own, get my own license. I was given a piece rate scale that everybody else in the market in my area got the same pay rate. I was making $50,000 a year, or not, sorry, not 50,000 a year. I was making $50 an hour. So I didn't want my own license. I didn't want all the overhead. I didn't want the headache that went with it all. So I was rolling and I was making really good money, and I was young, I was naive. I thought it was going to last forever. Well, 2008 hit. I built a house in 2007. We turned the key into the doorknob with a bank loan, and I had built a $440,000 home in 2007. That home, I felt like I was on top of the world because I invested 178 into it. Felt like I was on top of the world. Well, I ended up getting divorced in 2009. The economy tanked. I couldn't afford the child support and not work at the same time. There wasn't work to be had. Ended up selling the house to my ex-wife for $260,000. It was worth $440,000 when I built it. So what I did after that, didn't have work. My boss couldn't afford to pay me anymore. I moved to a bigger city, Ogden, Utah, and I tried to make a go of it there. And even with all my skill, nobody knew who I was. They didn't want to pay me more than $12 an hour. So I was forced into getting my own license. 2011, I opened my business. Keep in mind, my divorce probably cost me, through attorneys and trying to fight to keep my rights to my kids and whatnot. My divorce cost me $300,000. 2011, I decided to call my business Empire Construction. I called it Empire Construction because I decided I am taking life into my own hands. I am going to create an empire. So 2011, Empire Construction was born. And from 2011 to 2013, I lived in poverty. This thing above my head, it was all I could do to keep that lit, to pay the power bill, to keep that lit, to keep water in my toilet, to have gas money to go pick up my kids. I moved to a new town. Nobody knew who I was. I couldn't land a job. It was too competitive. In that time frame, I took the money that I was making and I decided to invest into a coal stock. I took a lot of money and put it into coal. And I watched that rise and rise and rise and rise. It was like a roller coaster, but it was pretty much on the incline. And Obama was anti-coal. And I remember when the election the election happened, and I'm thinking to myself, I need to sell that coal stock. And I get home the day before the election, and I go to sell it, and I forget that I am 2 hours behind New York time. So the stock market's closed. I can't sell it. I'm thinking I got to sell that in the morning. I slept in. I missed it by about 30 minutes trying to sell it. And I watched the bar graph. You know, that was climbing, climbing, climbing. Obama gets elected. I started here and it climbed steady. Obama got elected and from here. From that point on, I decided I'm not investing in anything except for something I have power over. So I moved to Bear Lake. I focused on resort homes where the multimillionaires, the rich people, want to build. So I left the normal housing market and I focused my energy on vacation homes where people actually have a lot of money and are willing to spend it on what is actual value. So I made a good run, really good run, and still am. And I was looking at property. It took me 3 years to find this property. I found this 7 acres and I bought it because I saw potential. I saw amazing potential. And I bought it when it was still in a low economy. So I bought it, and I bought it owner finance because my credit score was horrible. Banks wouldn't give me a loan. After that divorce and everything I went through, I couldn't keep, as hard as I tried, I could not keep a credit score good. Anyway, I did this owner finance and I built my credit back up, and I decided I was going to build this barn that I'm in right now when I hit 750 credit score. Well, when I got the land paid off, I had already torn down multiple barns, 7 barns, collecting material for 5 years to build this place. I realized after I got the property paid off, I own 90% of the material to build this place. So at that point, I decided I'm not involving a bank. The bank is not going to have any say on what I do. So right now, I'm sitting at a property value of about $750,000 to $800,000. Let me paint a big picture for you. And where I'm going with this whole story is Joe Biden scares the shit out of me. And he is, from what I read about a 3% property tax. Let me explain what 3% the 3% property tax is. That little 3%, an average person is going to spend, an average home is $300,000. So an average person is going to spend $9,000 a year on a 3% federal tax. That is something I can afford. That's my income. That's where I fit in. My 15-year plan on this property, not including a bank, because I'm not doing a loan, I've got a 15-year plan just like everybody else. Some stretch it to 30, but 15 is the sensible, unless you want to pay a lot of interest. So I'm doing 15 years. I'm going to spend about $300,000 on this property. This is my retirement plan. I had a really amazing plan set in place. My next door neighbor built their house 2 years after I bought my property, and they invested, their property is $1.3 million. The next door neighbor to them is $1.1 million. The neighbor behind them is sitting at about $700,000. The reason he's so low is he's a modular home. So after I'm done spending $300,000, and I've got this massive building down the hill on this 7 acres that I'm planning on building, plus the glamping little playground that's going to have tents on it and stuff for people like you to rent. This property in my 15-year plan is going to reach about $3 million in value. I'm able to do that because I have talent, not because I have money. You know what 3% tax is on $3 million? That's $90,000 a year. That is my entire income. So it's deflated me. This is socialism. You want to take my talent and distribute it to everybody else. I'm sorry, but I am building this for a lot of people. I want to share this property with America, but I want it to be on my terms. Right now, I feel like I am looking at building something I can't even afford to keep. Joe Biden scares the shit out of me. I feel like my freedom's getting tossed out the window. I can't verify if this 3% property tax and his tax plan is real. I don't know how to decipher what fake news is anymore. But my anxiety is through the roof. One of the reasons it's taken me so long to build what I'm trying to build right now is because I don't know if I can even keep it if I build it.